All right, what's up, guys? Pepman, Morrow, Carolina Varsity coming back at you. We're going to take a look now at the Southwestern Conference preview. And, once you start looking at this conference, it's really interesting to see some familiar faces and familiar teams near the top of my projections. And then some teams I think you're going to have to watch. They may not be projected at the top, but I think they could get there if things fall right. And then some teams are somewhat rebuilding and and they have more realistic goals for them as they progress to get on the right track. All right, so let's start off. I'm gonna still pick Butler at the top. I think you got to be the best to beat the best, and these guys have won championships and gone deep in the playoffs year in and year out, despite anything that goes on. And I think you got to put them at number one before you can, anoint someone else above them. My thoughts, I think the defense is going to lead the charge. They're going to be bigger on the defensive line than they have been in the past. I know defense coordinator Michael Nahum is very excited about that. Offensively, expect for them to lean on the running game behind Najee Peoples, more so than, most Butler teams have in the past. They've had that quarterback that can operate their more of spread, multifaceted attack based out of a wing T that Coach Brian Hales likes to run. I know I visited them a couple months ago. Quarterback competition has been wide open. Got a few guys in mind, but, Coach Hales told me that, he's looking for someone to step up and lead. And it was the first time in a long time that they've had this kind of issue at Butler. So defense, running the football. I think that's what you're going to see from the Bulldogs, at least early on, until, a quarterback gets acclimated in the offense. And then you're going to see them, be balanced and diversified like they usually do. I think starting around conference play, they'll start opening up a little bit like they usually do. Behind them, I like Myers Park. Of course, everyone knows all the talent they have over there. Great head coach in Scott Chadwick, who's won everywhere he's been. Really, really talented offense. Of course, you got Braden Hawkins at quarterback, transferred in. Great story if you haven't heard about him. We've talked about, this has just come out recently, that Kamal Howard's there in the backfield that will probably share some time once he learns the system and such and gets acclimated into the Myers Park fold. Of course, that can do nothing but help on the offensive side of the ball. But you got dynamic playmakers in Elijah Bulk on the outside and Mr. Muhammad as well. Both, Bullock being a junior, Muhammad being a young guy as well. That's got to be very exciting for Coach Chadwick. And then, of course, they got good defensive secondary. And, they got Dre Bly, the coaching staff, that definitely helps. The key is going to be the front seven. That's going to determine if they're just very good or if they make a run into the state playoffs and, possibly contend for a state championship. But these guys are going to challenge. And, with Butler, that game last year was a total, that's one of those, you don't even look at the film and just throw it out. It's one of those things that Butler came out motivated and, things didn't go well for Myers Park and it just kind of got off track. But, Myers Park's going to be very motivated in a rematch. Ultimately, I think these two are going to be fighting it out for the conference title here. Behind them, you've got some interesting teams here. Porter Ridge, I really like them. Strong, fundamentally sound football team. They got a returning quarterback in Grayson McCall, that runs their split back gun offense really well. They like to run some option out of it, some zone looks. It's some stuff that you don't see all the time, but they're very disciplined in what they do. That's the thing you think about when you look at Porter Ridge. Discipline and fundamentals. They're going to be where they need to be, and they're going to, form tackle. They're going to block to the whistle. And then Mike Hertz does a great job down there in Union County. And they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough out. Hickory Ridge, meeting with them was really fun. Coach Jason Seidel, who's got some Charlotte experience, he was former offensive coordinator at Berry, as well as his defense coordinator came from Berry when they were winning over there and doing well. They run some RPO stuff, which I think is new to Charlotte. You see some people have run it here and there, but that's their offense. They RPO everything. Is what Coach Seidel told me. So that's going to be a challenge for some defense coordinators in this league. They got talent. They've got Jarrett Garner on the outside, who's committed to Duke. Very good wide receiver. Jalen Brooks opposite of him. Both tall, rangy guys to go get the football and make plays. Offensively, they're going to be tough. Defensively is going to be the thing. They made a really nice playoff run last year in the 3A ranks. I know a lot of people may not be aware of that in Charlotte, but this is a very good football team. And you cannot take these guys lightly. And they are hungry at the challenge of coming into Charlotte and making a name. So this is going to be a team to watch, definitely. East Mecklenburg, Khalil Gilliam at quarterback. I mentioned him before. 4-year starter, coming into his own, very physically talented kid. Of course, losing Kamal Howard, it hurts. But, in that Barry Shuford offensive system, he makes running backs. And it'll be exciting to see who picks up the slack. And I'm sure there's going to be somebody ready to make that happen. They've also gotten real strong. I know Coach Shuford mentioned that, this is the strongest team he's had since he's been at East, which is, of course, a big part of the game. And, this is a team that we've seen it before. If you catch them on the right night, they can beat anyone. A couple years ago they beat Butler. We know there were circumstances around it, but they won the game on the field. So this is a capable team, and they run a system that shortens the game, maximizes possession of the football, and if you're not careful, you find yourself in a dogfight. And that's the way Coach Shuford wins football games. Tough running football offense. He'll hit you on that play action when you go to sleep on it, and that defense, they keep everything in front of them. And they got Coach Hart, formerly at West Charlotte, their defense coordinator. So that's a very intelligent football staff over there. They're going to be in a lot of football games, and it's going to be a tough out. You got Independence with Coach Natoli and Coach Van Horn leading the offense over there. Those are some very good guys. I enjoyed talking with them. They're going to have better offensive output. They've got some skilled guys over there, names you don't know just yet, but you will. They're going to make plays on Friday nights. They're going to be better. That's going to be a better team. They do a lot of good stuff on there. Very organized. They're focused, team unity. They've done a lot of stuff in the community. This is another team you can't sleep on. They're going to bring some different looks also. This is going to be a better team than it was last year after all of the things that happened, unfortunately. But good things are going on over in Mint Hill. And speaking of Mint Hill, the other school, Rocky River, this is a transition year for them. Of course, Coach Fowler left to go to Olympic. They bring in Coach Gray, formerly from A.L. Brown, to lead their program. They lost a lot of talented seniors, but I've heard some good things going on over there. And it's going to take some time, for Coach to get his program going and get installed and get some of these young guys that are going to be playing a lot more than they have been up to speed. But give them some time, and hopefully by conference play they'll be ready to challenge. And then finally you've got Garinger, and I visited with Garinger and then Coach Jeff Caldwell, who I've coached against for years when I was at Harding. His teams are always tough to play against. They always give you something that you didn't see on film. And they're going to play hard. And these kids over there are hungry. They have about, I believe it was about 45 kids when I went out there in the summer, which for Garinger, we all know, you haven't seen that lately. Saw them in 7-on-7. They have some guys that can make plays, especially Tyrese Wilkes, number 17 on the outside at receiver. That's going to be the guy that you're going to hear from them that can make some plays. But a lot of good kids that are working hard and they're hungry to get the program turned around, and Coach Caldwell's excited to be there, and that's somewhere where he wanted to be. And, you don't hear that a lot with Garinger. So hopefully they'll be able to get things going in the right direction and get that program turned around, and most importantly, end the streak that everybody's talking about, and get some positive things going at that school. So that's a lot there for the Southwestern Conference, but I appreciate you watching. Of course, we always like to go in detail at Carolina Varsity, so you're going to hear a lot more about these teams as time goes on. You're going to hear a lot more about these players, and we appreciate your support. Thanks a lot, and good luck this season.